It's time to get some compost onto the beds in my high tunnels. I'm getting them prepped and ready for planting. This is compost we've made here ourselves on the farm from putting garden matter from the gardens, lawn clippings, garden waste, and kitchen scraps. I'm just walking down one of the beds here. I'm going to dump the compost at the bottom. This high tunnel is 18 feet wide and 50 feet long. After I get this last wheelbarrow of compost in, I'll be raking all the beds to get the compost evened out. Sometimes I get a little bit more in one area than another, but I try to do the best I can with that. I just rake it out, spread it out. For each wheelbarrow load, I take about half of it one way and half the other way. It seems to work all right. So under these piles of compost, I've already put down some glacial rock dust and bone blood mix. If you don't want to use things like that, you could use kelp meal, other kinds of organic products that are not animal-based. But I do find that those products like bone and blood, feather meal, manures from animals do enrich the soil a lot and add a lot of extra nutrients that the plants really like, a lot of nitrogen. I've got the 4 beds of compost all spread out, and I'm just waiting for my husband to come and do some rototilling for me because the machine's a little bit too big for me. This one here I didn't do all the way to the end because it's a bit of a wet spot and it gets too soggy in there. When it rains, the water comes in underneath, and so I'm not even going to bother planting anything there. But other than that, it's all ready to go. So each bed is 3 feet wide and the footpaths are 2 feet. So that's my spacing for this house. It's 18 feet by 50 feet long. Here's the lettuce I'll be planting into that house. Well, this is a bit wilty. Looks like it needs some water. And I have some kale here I'll be planting out, and these peas will be going out into the field. So all that lettuce, each tray is 128 cells.
This is me doing stuff.
That's Robert. Just gonna walk out to the field here, show you what's happening since my last video. You can see the rhubarb coming up nicely here in this 100-foot row of rhubarb. And I think last time there wasn't any garlic coming up yet. I'll just show you that little patch of garlic that I have. Coming up really nicely here. Each bed is 50 feet long. This one has 4 rows, so that's 200 feet of garlic, and here is 150 feet of garlic. So I compact them. They're about 6 inches apart, and that gives me a nice spacing for them, and I can compact my rows instead of spreading them all out. Nice soft beds to plant into. I'll have to fix up the ends here a little bit. And they are a little bit rough for Robert to do because these were a bit of a pathway before, so they're pretty compacted. But the rototiller's doing a nice job of softening that all up, and he's getting through pretty good. One thing we'll always do when we get rototilling inside the high tunnels is to make sure that we open up the ends nice and wide, pull back the plastic and roll up the sides so that there's no exhaust buildup or causing any problems to whoever's doing the rototilling. I'm just going to grab my rake here and rake up the sides, make sure there's no dips or holes. It's nice and even. Pull up the sides a little bit wherever it went over the bed. Usually the rototiller dips in a bit at the bottoms of the beds, and I always have to pull that in. Every year I get a little bit better at setting up my bed system, making sure I don't have to continually move around my beds, change the patterns that I have in the greenhouses, making sure that they're something I can use over and over in a similar pattern, and then I don't have to do all the tilling. So this hasn't been tilled for a couple of years because I had a different pattern in here with different pathways, but now I'm just changing around where I'm putting things, so I'm needing to change the pattern. And once I get this going, and if I use this probably next year for something else, then all I need to really do is add in compost, and if it's soft enough, I don't even have to till. There's a little bit of a slope to this one, so I need to kind of even that out a bit. You can use a landscape rake as well. I do have landscape rakes. Sometimes I find these little guys work just as well, if not better. I'll use the landscape rake for other kinds of jobs that I'll be doing. So one of my bigger high tunnels, Robert's rototilled on the side here, and on the far side I'll be planting some lettuce and greens in there. And he's going to still do this side over here, and also be doing the sides in this house. Look at those beautiful beds. Don't they look great? I really love how nicely tilled they are and how fresh they are, all ready to go. Thanks for joining me with my farm chores today as I got ready for my planting and my high tunnels, getting the beds prepped, or the first step of getting the beds prepped. Hopefully you'll follow along and see more of what's coming up for this season. And until next time, please take care.